That's what I said. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything.
Yep.
So even when that kind of thought comes, let it pass.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Juan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse. How are you doing today?
All is well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm calling today because I've seen shorts of you before on like videos, and I recently started checking out some of your longer videos, and I see how you talk about forgiving in order to find God, you have to forgive your parents. And my question is, since both my parents passed before I was 10, how would I go about that if I need to forgive them? If I need to forgive them,
By getting to know yourself, and by looking within, getting to know yourself, and you're going to see that anger that you have is controlling you. It's a spirit. It's not you, and the things you have done have never been you. It was something else, which is evil, by the way.
right?
And it was making you feel the way you feel, have fear and doubts, and look for love in all the wrong places, and repeat the same thing over and over again. And you didn't want to do it, but you couldn't help it. When you can see that,
Right.
when you can see that about yourself, it will cause you. The light of that will cause you to realize your mother and father could not help themselves, and now that they're expired, it would cause you to forgive them and make you go free.
And I believe I have done that in a sense, because I feel like, I don't feel anger. I'm not an angry person. I don't throw anger tantrums or flip on any people and be, cursing people out. But there's other things that I do. How can I put the words? That I do make myself believe that it's me. But like you said, recently I've came to that realization that the things that I've done, it's not me. That what my flesh does is not me, because I'm a child, I'm a son of God, and I can't do no wrong. So I know it's not me. So I just wanted to call to see how I would go about that, because I don't feel any anger
Nice.
towards my parents at all.
Good.
I mean, I know that they couldn't help it, whatever, they did. And another question I had was, I was raised by my mom's sister, because she took me in when I was like 2 years old, and she was the one that raised me, basically, till I was like 16. And my question is, should I go and forgive her?
Do you resent her? Do you resent her for anything?
I don't feel like I resent her, but I feel like growing up, she was raising me like a liberal. I was being raised very spoiled. She would get me anything I wanted, and she would just try to. I think she was just trying to make up for my mom, I guess. And I don't blame her for that, and I don't feel any remorse or not remorse, or any hatred towards her or any resentment towards her at all.
When you ask her why did she raise you that like a woman, what did she say?
I haven't asked her that.
Why not?
Beta.
Oh, beta. Beta.
I haven't had the chance to speak with her. I've been working I work night shift, and this last 7 days I've been working 7 days consecutive, and Wednesday is my first day off, so I'm going to call her on Wednesday, and I'm planning on talking to her about that. Why she turned me into a beta.
Yeah, you should ask her that way. That way, if you do have any resentment, it'll show itself while you're talking to her, and you can let it go by realize she can help it. But you should ask her, why did you raise me like a woman? You spoiled me, you did this. What was on your mind? What made you do it? And that would give you a better understanding of why she did it rather than assuming.
Right.
Have
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Beta.
What a beta. But have you have you start to see that all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything?
Yes, I started doing the silent prayer. Not like you say, in the morning, and I got to get into the habit of doing it in the morning and night.
Why don't you why don't you put that first?
Like I said, I work nights, and I do it like when I get home from work before I go to bed. Like right now, I just got home. I'm going to go to bed here in a little bit, and I'll do it before I go to bed, and I'll do it when I wake up later on today. But yeah, there's just some days that I don't do it. Like I said, I got to get into the habit of doing it.
And so you started to see that all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything?
Yes. Since you started pointing it out, I've been seeing it. And I had an experience that happened to me about, I'd say, in 2019. That's something that I would like to speak in private because
okay.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Don't put your personal business out there. Evil people will judge you.
Right. But to make a long story short, that day I feel like God showed me what was wrong with me and the things that I've been battling with, and I think that day I realized that, like you said in one of your videos, all my fights have been with myself and not with people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And like I was just blaming myself all these years for the things that I've done and the bad habits that you develop growing up and stuff.
Right.
And I started seeing that and realizing that I am a sinner and that I am condemned if I don't go back to the Father, if I don't turn back to Christ.
Yeah.
Which I think I've been doing it wrong for the past 10 years because I started going to church and reading the Bible and becoming a Bible thumper.
Bible thumper Thursday.
So, but yeah, I'm thankful that I came across your videos and been able to kind of see things in a different light.
Right on, man. Well, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And another thing I want to encourage you to practice, and you might not do it right away, but you know how you hear your voice in your imagination in your head?
Yes.
And then you find yourself sometime responding to that, talking back to it, or even if you're not using words, you're having a conversation with the voices in the head. Yes,
funny you mentioned that because actually yesterday I fell into that to where I saw the thought and, like you said, instead of doing nothing about it, I gave into it and played into that little game. But yeah, I did see it though.
Here's good, and here's what I want you to practice too. The moment you can catch yourself communicating with that, stop it. Just don't do it. And, and there will come a time when it won't happen anymore. You don't have to worry about it. But practice being aware of catching yourself communicating with the voices in your head, and just stop doing it. Don't have the conversation. Let it pass. And eventually you'll be free from that as well.
Okay.
Because it's the awareness of it that the awareness is the light within, and it's the awareness of it that's destroying the darkness of your imagination. It is not you at all. It has never been you. You're not your thoughts. You're not your body. You're not your feelings. You're not in those things at all. And just stop, know that it's not you, and knowing it, which is the light of God, allowing you to see it and to know it. He is destroying the spirit of evil. You'll be fine. You are not guilty. You have never been guilty. You're neither good, the real you, neither good nor bad, neither right or wrong. You have never been guilty of anything. It's always been evil in you causing you to do things, condemning you, causing you to do things, and then judging you, and you just thought it was you. But God has never held anything against you. He never will. He never has.
Okay.
He has always known that it wasn't you, but it was that spirit in you. When you were a kid, you became angry, and the spirit made a home in your imagination and pretended to be you. It's never you. Nothing bad has ever happened to you, and nothing bad will ever happen to you.
Yeah, that we've all fallen for the lie and everything. And like lately, I've been coming to the realization that everything that we've been taught, it's been a lie.
It has been.
And it reminds me of a video that I saw, or one of your videos, where you're talking about, if you ask the question, if you didn't know how old you are, I mean, if you didn't know what day you were born, how old would you be today?
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
And that is so deep, because if you think about it, if you wouldn't know, you just wouldn't know. You would just exist.
That's right. And that's
that hit me. That hit me deep when you said that. I was like, "Wait, that's such a great question."
That's right. If you didn't know when your birthday was, how old would you be? Can you imagine living life without having to even think about your age? Because it would be no age.
I asked my 9-year-old dad, and she was kind of tripped out about it. She's like, "That's kind of a crazy question, Dad."
Nice. Also, I told yesterday we talked about you give it in a month. Live your life without blaming anyone else, at least for a month, and give it a try without blaming anyone for anything. And see what's that like? No excuses, no blaming. You see, and the reason I throw that out there like that and about age and different things, because in all honesty, we are just a living being. We are not our bodies. We're not our minds. We're not our excuses. We're not our blames. We are and we're not those emotions. Those are false identities as well. We are really just a living being. God created us, and He breathed life into us, a soul, life, and we became a living being. We did not become a human being. He gave us these bodies so we can navigate on earth, but we are a living being. We're not, and the world have made us believe we are everything but what we really are. And it's been difficult to live life that way. No one going to live life with illusions of themselves, with these false ideas.
Yeah, that's something that sums it up. That's about right. One other thing I wanted to ask you was regarding what you just said. So, do you believe that we are, like, once we leave this body, we leave this earth, we will be in the presence of the Father forever, like in the physical presence, not like now that we have this spiritual connection with Him, but that we're going to be in a tangible presence with Him, that we're going to have that close-up and personal relationship with Him like we do with our fellow beings here on earth?
You don't have a close-up and personal relationship with your fellow being.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You don't have a close-up and personal relationship with your fellow beings, with other human beings. You don't have a relationship with them. It's all fake.
Right. I don't, because they're blind and I'm not. I understand that.
Right.
But like let's say, for example, the same way I have a physical relationship with my kids and my family and stuff like that. Do you think we'll be able? Do you think that's something that we're going to go to once we pass on?
Is that the kind of relationship you want with God? The same thing you have with your family?
It's not the kind of relationship that I need.
Is that what you want?
No.
Well, why would you want that with God?
Just, I don't know, just my I guess my flesh is talking for me.
Yeah, when did the idea come from for you to be thinking about what's going to happen later? Where do you get that from?
I think just from reading the scriptures, and
Let
yeah,
all
just
that go.
from reading the Bible. I'm sorry.
All ideas are set up. They're not from God. They're from the devil.
Right.
All
So
ideas give you a false sense of identity. What you need to be concerned about now. Paradise
right.
is on earth right now. Heaven is at hand right now. Why worried about what's going to happen when it doesn't exist? Those are another thoughts that come from the devil that came from reading. It's of the intellect. It's not of God. Don't worry about dying. You live, and however you live is the way that what's going to happen to you when you leave your body.
Right.
If you live a hell of a life in your body, you're going to live a hell of a life out of your body. If you live perfect love in your body, you're going to have perfect love and peace outside of your body.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. We do have to get out of our heads because
yeah, what you just asked me was not from God; it's from the devil,
yeah.
and you shouldn't be concerned about that at all. The devil is always pouring ideas into your head in order to try and control you. He wants you to believe him because the last thing he wants you to do is to believe God. He wants you to doubt God and believe him. So he's always pouring ideas into the intellect, pretending that it's from you and God. That's what I said. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything.
Yep.
So even when that kind of thought comes, let it pass.
Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I wish you well.
I wish you well as well.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.